You will lie in this bed tonight, and your mind will punish you for things that haven't happened yet. It will replay conversations that are already over. It will build disasters out of silence. It will take a small worry, something you barely noticed during the day, and stretch it into a catastrophe so vivid, so detailed, that your heart rate will rise in a room where nothing is happening. And the worst part, the part no one tells you, is that it genuinely believes it's helping you. Your mind is not torturing you. It is trying to protect you. It is scanning the darkness for threats that don't exist, because 200,000 years of evolution taught it one rule. If the world goes quiet, something is about to attack. That rule kept your ancestors alive. But tonight, in a safe room, under a warm blanket, with no predator within 1,000 miles, that rule is destroying your rest. So let me tell you exactly what this video is going to do. Over the next 80 minutes, I'm going to give you 9 truths, not opinions, not affirmations. 9 truths drawn from Stoic philosophy, from the private journals of Marcus Aurelius, the midnight letters of Seneca, and the evening teachings of Epictetus, that are designed to do one thing: interrupt the loop. Not fight it, not suppress it, interrupt it. The way a single calm voice in a crowded room can make everyone stop shouting. Here is how it works. Each truth targets a different layer of your nighttime anxiety. The first 3 work on your mind, the stories it tells, the patterns it repeats, the tabs it refuses to close. The next 3 work on your body, the tension it holds, so the signals it misreads, the war it fights against rest. And the final 3 work on something deeper, the part of you that has forgotten it is allowed to stop. By truth number 4, your breathing will be different. Not because I will tell you to breathe, because the pace of this conversation will slow your nervous system without your permission. By truth number 7, the voice in your head, the one building tomorrow's disasters, will lose its authority. Not its volume, its authority. You'll still hear it, but you'll stop believing it. And by truth number 9, most people who listen to this are already asleep. Not because they're bored, because their body, for the first time in hours, felt safe enough to surrender. But I need to warn you about something before we begin. There is a specific reason your anxiety gets worse at night. Not in the afternoon, not during your commute. At night. In the dark. In the silence. There is a biological mechanism, ancient, automatic, and completely misunderstood, that switches on the moment external noise disappears. It has a name. It has a function. And until you understand what it is and why it activates, you will keep losing this fight every single night. That mechanism is truth number 1. But first, don't move. Don't adjust your pillow. Don't check your phone. Just take one breath. Not deep, not dramatic. One normal breath. And when you exhale, let your shoulders drop half an inch. That's it. That's all you need to do for the next 80 minutes. Listen, breathe, and let someone else carry the weight for a little while. Now, let us begin. Here is what no one tells you about nighttime anxiety. It is not a disorder. It is not a flaw. It is your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do at the wrong time. 2,000 years ago, when Marcus Aurelius sat alone in his tent on the northern frontier, the silence around him was not safe. Wolves, enemies, betrayal from within his own ranks. For a Roman soldier, nighttime silence meant danger, and the brain adapted. It learned to stay alert when the world goes quiet, to scan for threats when there is nothing left to do. Your brain is still running that ancient software. The moment you lie down, the moment distractions disappear, no phone, no task, No conversation. Your amygdala interprets the silence as a signal, not as peace, as potential threat. And it begins its patrol, scanning memories for unresolved conflict, or projecting into the future for possible disaster, searching relentlessly for something wrong. This is what neuroscientists call the default mode network in threat detection overdrive. It is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that your brain hasn't been told, clearly and repeatedly, that the patrol is over, that the perimeter is secure, that tonight there is no wolf. Marcus Aurelius understood this. He wrote, "Today I escaped anxiety," or no, I discarded it, because it was within me, in my own perceptions, not outside. Read that again in your mind. He didn't say anxiety left him. He said he discarded it. An active choice, a deliberate act of putting it down. But here is the part most people miss. He wrote this in the evening. That book we read today as philosophy was his nightly journal, his way of telling his own mind. The patrol is over. I've reviewed the day. There is nothing left to scan. This is what you are going to do tonight. Not tomorrow, not next week. Tonight. Over the next 75 minutes, you and I are going to walk through your mind's patrol route together. We are going to visit every corner it's worried about. And one by one, we are going to turn off the lights, not because there is nothing there, but because you have already looked, and looking is enough. Now, truth number 2 is where this gets personal. Because there is a specific sentence your mind repeats at night, the same sentence in different words. And once you hear it, you won't be able to unhear it. Every anxious mind, regardless of language, culture, and/or circumstance, repeats the same sentence at night. The words change, the structure changes, but the meaning is always identical. The sentence is, "What if it goes wrong?" Sometimes it sounds like, "What if I'm not ready?" Sometimes it sounds like, "What if they leave?" Sometimes it sounds like, "What if I've already ruined everything?" But strip away the costume and the skeleton is always the same. What if it goes wrong? Now, here is why this matters. Your brain does not process this as a question. It processes it as a command. What if it goes wrong is not a curiosity. It is an instruction. It tells your nervous system to simulate the worst outcome, to build it in detail, to feel it as if it were already happening. And your body obeys. Cortisol rises, heart rate increases, muscles tighten. You are now physiologically living inside a future that does not exist. Lying in a safe bed, in a quiet room, your body believes it is already in the disaster. Seneca saw this 2,000 years before brain scans confirmed it. He wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." He also wrote, "What I advise you to do is not to be unhappy before the crisis comes. Some things torment us more than they ought. Some torment us before they ought, and some torment us when they ought not to torment us at all. We are in the habit of exaggerating, or imagining, or anticipating sorrow. This is not positive thinking. This is pattern recognition. Seneca is not telling you everything will be fine. He's telling you that you are living the pain twice. Once in imagination, or once in reality, and the first time is always worse because it has no boundaries. Reality has edges. Imagination does not. So tonight, I want you to notice the sentence. When it comes, and it will come, don't fight it. Don't suppress it. Just label it. Say to yourself silently, there it is, the sentence. What if it goes wrong? And then ask one counter question. Just one. Not an argument. A question. Is this happening right now? Not tomorrow, not next week. Right now. In this room. In this bed. in this breath. The answer, tonight, is no. And that is enough. Not forever. Just for tonight. You only need to be safe for tonight. Now, truth number 3 takes us somewhere unexpected. Because it turns out the Stoics had a specific nighttime practice, a ritual performed before sleep, that modern psychology has only recently begun to understand. And almost no one talks about it. Before you think the Stoics just wrote philosophical books and debated in marble halls, understand this. They had rituals, daily, non-negotiable rituals, and one of the most powerful was performed at night. Seneca describes it in De Ira, on anger. He writes, "When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, I examine my entire day and go back over what I've done and said, hiding nothing from myself and passing nothing by." This was not meditation. This was not gratitude journaling. This was a deliberate, structured debrief of the day, performed every single night, designed to do one thing: close the open files in the mind. If you think about your computer, when you have 47 tabs open, the system slows down. It heats up. The fan starts running. Not because any single tab is dangerous, but because the system is trying to keep everything active simultaneously. Your mind at night is a browser with 47 open tabs. That conversation you didn't finish, open tab. That email you haven't replied to, open tab. That decision you postponed, open tab. And your brain, lying in the dark, is trying to keep every single one of them loaded, running, active. That is what you experience as anxiety, not a broken mind, an overloaded one. The Stoic Evening Review was the original method of closing those tabs, not solving them, not finishing them, just reviewing them and consciously deciding, I have seen this, I acknowledge it, and I will deal with it tomorrow. But tonight, this tab is closed. Here is a simplified version you can do right now. As you listen to this, think of 3 things that happened today. Just 3. They don't need to be important. They don't need to be dramatic. The first, something you handled well. It can be small. You stayed patient. You made a healthy choice. You showed up. The second, something you could have handled better. Don't judge it. Don't spiral. Just see it, like watching a replay. I reacted too quickly. I could have paused. That is all. Tab closed. The third, something that is out of your control. Something you are carrying that you did not create and cannot solve tonight. A situation at work, a relationship tension, an uncertainty about the future. See it. Name it. And then, consciously, deliberately, set it down. It will be there tomorrow. It does not need you to hold it while you sleep. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't let your reflection on the whole sweep of life crush you. Don't fill your mind with all the bad things that might still happen. Stay focused on the present situation and ask yourself why it's so unbearable and can't be survived." He wrote this to himself, at night, in a journal that was never meant to be published. He was not performing wisdom, he was practicing survival. Tonight, you are doing the same thing. You are not reading philosophy, you are using it. Now, truth number 4 changes the pace, because we have been working with your mind so far. What comes next works directly with your body, and it will feel different, slower, heavier. That is by design. You may have noticed something by now. Your breathing has slowed. Not because I told you to breathe differently, but because the pace of this conversation has been deliberately slowing down since minute 1. This is not an accident. There is a principle in neuroscience called entrainment. Your nervous system synchronizes with external rhythms. A fast, chaotic environment makes your heartbeat fast and chaotic. A slow, steady voice, with long pauses, with silence, begins to pull your heart rate, your breathing, your brainwave frequency downward, toward rest. The Stoics didn't have the word entrainment, but they understood the principle. Epictetus taught his students in the evening, in quiet rooms, with long pauses between ideas. He would say something, and then wait. Not for dramatic effect, but because he knew the silence between the words was where the learning happened. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters, Epictetus said. But the part people forget is the implied pause. He's not saying react instantly and correctly. He's saying there is a space between what happens and how you respond. And in that space, if you let it exist, wisdom appears. Right now, that space is this video. This is the gap between your day and your sleep. Most people fill this gap with scrolling, with replaying, with worrying. You are filling it with something different tonight. If you are still here at minute 32, you are not the person who gives up easily. You are the person who searches for answers in quiet places. If this voice has helped slow something down inside you tonight, consider subscribing. Not for me, for the version of you that needs this again. Tomorrow night, and the night after that. This is a place you can come back to. Now, your body is carrying something, not an idea, not a fear, something physical, a tightness in the jaw, a pressure in the chest, a knot in the stomach, maybe in the shoulders. You know exactly where it is. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a great deal of it." He was talking about time. But tonight, let me borrow his words for your body. It is not that your body is broken. It is that you have asked it to carry too much for too long without ever setting anything down. Your body remembers what your mind tries to forget. That argument last month, your mind moved on, but your shoulders didn't. That rejection, your mind rationalized it, but your stomach still tightens when you think about it. That period of your life when everything was uncertain, your mind filed it away, but your jaw still clenches at night. So here is truth number 4. Your body is not anxious about the future. It is still responding to the past, and the way to release it is not to think your way out, but to give it one simple signal: safety. Not the word, the feeling. And the feeling comes not from solving problems, but from slowing down long enough for your nervous system to recognize, I am not in danger. This is rest. I can let go. Wherever the tension is in your body right now, don't try to fix it. Just notice it. Breathe into the space around it. And on your next exhale, imagine that area softening by 10%. Not 100, not even 50. Just 10. That is enough. Well, now by truth number 5 is the one that people tell me they remember months later. It is the truth that changes how you see yourself, not just how you sleep. And it starts with a question Epictetus asked 2,000 years ago. Epictetus stood in front of his students one evening and asked a question so simple it offended them. When I see an anxious person, I ask myself, what do they want? For if a person wasn't wanting something outside of their own control, why would they be stricken by anxiety? Read that again slowly in your mind. He didn't ask, what are they afraid of? He asked, what do they want? This changes everything. Anxiety is not really about fear. Anxiety is about desire. It is the desperate want for a specific outcome combined with the awareness that you cannot guarantee it. So you don't lie awake at night because you are afraid. You lie awake because you want something. Approval, security, certainty, love, control. And you know, somewhere deep, that wanting it doesn't mean you will get it. And that gap between want and certainty is where anxiety lives. The Stoics did not tell you to stop wanting. They told you to sort, to divide every desire into two categories, what is within your control and what is not. And then, with surgical precision, to pour your energy only into the first category. Epictetus called this the dichotomy of control. And it is not a concept, it is a practice, especially at night. So let us do it right now. Think of the thing that is keeping you awake, the thing your mind keeps circling back to. Hold it in your awareness. And now ask, is the outcome within my control? If yes, then there is nothing to worry about. You will act on it tomorrow. Your job tonight is to rest, so you can act well. If no, then worry is not just useless. It is a theft. It is stealing tonight's rest to pay for a future that may never arrive. And even if it does arrive, the version of you that rested will handle it better than the version of you that stayed awake rehearsing it. Marcus Aurelius put it plainly. The first step, don't be anxious. Nature controls it all. The second step, concentrate on what you have to do. Fix your eyes on it. Notice, the first step is not solve the problem. The first step is don't be anxious. Because he knew that anxiety is not a tool. It doesn't help you prepare. It doesn't make you sharper. It makes you duller, heavier, slower. It borrows energy from tomorrow and spends it on nothing tonight. So here is your practice for this moment. The thing you are worrying about. Name it. Silently. Then ask, can I act on this right now? If the answer is no, and at this hour it almost always is, then give yourself permission to set it down. Not forever. Until morning. That is all. You are not abandoning the problem. You are respecting your own limits. You are saying, I am a human being, not a machine. And right now, this human being needs to rest. Seneca wrote something that belongs in this exact moment. It is likely that some troubles will befall us, but it is not a present fact. How often has the unexpected happened? How often has the expected never come to pass? And even though it is ordained to be, what does it avail to run out to meet your suffering? What does it avail to run out to meet your suffering? That sentence should be written above every bedroom door. Truth number 6 is where we go deeper. So far, we have been working with anxiety as if it comes from the outside. Events, people, situations. But truth number 6 reveals where it actually originates. And once you see it, anxiety never feels the same again. There is a difference between pain and suffering. Pain is the sensation. Suffering is the narrative you build around it. You feel a tightness in your chest. That is pain. Then your mind says, this means something is wrong. Maybe I'm sick. Maybe I can't handle tomorrow. Maybe I'm falling apart. That is suffering. The mind took a sensation and turned it into a screenplay. Marcus Aurelius saw this with extraordinary clarity. He wrote, if then it's not that the things you pursue or avoid are coming at you, but rather that you, in a sense, are seeking them out, at least try to keep your judgment of them steady, and they too will remain calm. He's saying, the events are not chasing you. You are chasing the events with your interpretation. And if you can hold your judgment still, even for a moment, the event loses its charge. This is the single most powerful insight from Stoic philosophy, and it maps perfectly onto what modern cognitive behavioral therapy calls cognitive distortion. CBT identifies at least 15 types of distorted thinking: catastrophizing, mind reading, fortune-telling, black and white thinking. But the Stoics summarized all of them in one line. Epictetus said, what upsets people is not things themselves, but their judgments about these things. Tonight, your mind will try to tell you a story. It will say the tightness in your chest means something terrible. It will say the silence in the room is heavy because something is wrong. It will say that you should have done more, been more, achieved more. And the only thing you need to do, the only thing, is notice that it's a story. Not reject it. Not argue with it. Not suppress it. Just notice. There is the story. My mind is telling me a story. The moment you label it as a story, you step outside of it. You become the observer instead of the character. And from the observer's seat, the story has no power. It is just words in the dark. Noise without authority. Seneca understood this deeply. He wrote, "The mind at times fashions for itself false shapes of evil, when there are no signs that point to any evil. It twists into the worst construction some word of doubtful meaning." False shapes of evil. That is what your anxiety is most nights, not a real threat. A false shape, constructed by a mind that is terrified of silence, terrified of uncertainty, terrified of stillness. Because stillness means there is nothing left to control. And control, truth number 7 will show you, is the one thing the Stoics taught us to surrender. But not in the way you think. There is a war happening inside you every night, and you are fighting on both sides. One part of you wants to let go, to sleep, to stop. Another part of you refuses to surrender the perimeter, checking, scanning, rehearsing, preparing for a battle that exists only in projection. And here is the cruelest part. The part that won't let you sleep genuinely believes it is protecting you. It thinks that if it stops worrying, you'll be caught off guard. That vigilance, even at 3 in the morning, even when there is nothing to be done, is the only thing keeping disaster away. This is the illusion the Stoics spent centuries dismantling. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the Roman world, a man who had actual enemies plotting his death, wrote this to himself at night. Frame your thoughts like this. You are an old person. You won't let yourself be enslaved by this any longer, no longer pulled like a puppet by every impulse, and you'll stop complaining about your present fortune or dreading the future. No longer pulled like a puppet, and he's describing the exact sensation of nighttime anxiety, the feeling that something else is pulling the strings, that your thoughts are not yours, that you are a passenger in your own mind while some other force drives. The Stoic practice of surrender is not giving up. It is the conscious decision to stop fighting what you cannot control, including your own anxious thoughts. You do not fight the wave. You let it pass through you, not because it doesn't matter, because fighting it makes it bigger. Epictetus taught this with a simple principle. Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. Take the rest as it happens. Not take the rest and control it. Not take the rest and worry about it. Take the rest as it happens. This is the posture of a man who has made peace with uncertainty, well, not because he doesn't care, but because he has done everything in his power, and he knows that the remaining percentage belongs to the universe. Tonight, you have done everything you can do today. Every decision has been made. Every word has been spoken. Every action has been taken. The remaining hours of this day require only one thing from you. Rest. Not vigilance, not preparation, not rehearsal. Rest. And rest is not something you earn by solving every problem first. Rest is something you give yourself by choosing to put the sword down. Seneca wrote, "For the only safe harbor in this life's tossing, troubled sea is to refuse to be bothered about what the future will bring, and to stand ready and confident, of squaring the breast to take without skulking or flinching whatever fortune hurls at us. The safe harbor is not a place where nothing bad can happen. It is a state of mind where you have stopped running from what might happen, where you stand, calm, steady, accepting, and say, whatever comes, I will deal with it when it comes, not before. Let your hands unclench. If they're resting on your chest or by your sides, let the fingers soften. You don't need to grip anything right now. There is nothing to hold on to tonight, nothing to control, nothing to solve. Truth number 8 is the shortest. But people tell me it's the one that stays with them the longest. It's only one sentence, but it might be the most important sentence you hear tonight. Here it is. You have survived every single night before this one. Every night you lay awake worrying, you survived. Every night your mind told you that tomorrow would be a disaster. You survived. Every night the anxiety felt so real, so concrete, so certain. Morning came, and you were still here. Not once has the nighttime version of reality been accurate. Not once has the 3 a.m. prediction been correct. The catastrophe your mind rehearsed at midnight either never arrived or arrived in a form so different from what you imagined that all the rehearsal was useless. You have a 100% survival rate against nighttime anxiety. 100%. And yet, your mind treats tonight as if it's the first time, as if this anxiety is new, as if this darkness is different. It is not. Marcus Aurelius reflected on this pattern. He wrote, "Leave the past behind, for let the grand design take care of the future, and instead only rightly guide the present to reverence and justice." Let the grand design take care of the future. He's not being passive. He's being precise. He's saying, you are not the architect of the universe. You are a single person in a single room on a single night. Your job is to be here, fully, reverently, and let the rest unfold as it will. And Seneca adds, wild animals run from the dangers they actually see, and once they have escaped them, worry no more. We, however, are tormented alike by what is past and what is to come. A number of our blessings do us harm, for memory brings back the agony of fear, while foresight brings it on prematurely. No one confines his unhappiness to the present. A wild animal sees a real wolf. It runs, it escapes, and then, immediately, it returns to calm. It doesn't lie in its den replaying the wolf. It doesn't imagine tomorrow's wolf. It rests. You are allowed to rest like that tonight, not because there are no wolves in your life, but because right now, in this room, in this bed, in this breath, there is no wolf, and your body deserves to know that. Tomorrow's problems will have tomorrow's strength. Tonight's only task is tonight's rest. One more truth remains. Truth number 9. And it is not a lesson, it is a gift. Something the Stoics left behind specifically for nights like this one. Every Stoic master used the night differently than the rest of the world. While others feared the darkness, Seneca sat in it and examined his conscience. While others resisted sleeplessness, Marcus Aurelius used it to write the most intimate philosophical journal in human history. While others cursed the silence, Epictetus taught that silence was where the self was finally audible. The night was not their enemy, it was their classroom. And tonight, if you choose, it can be yours. Here is truth number 9. The fact that you are lying awake, listening to this, searching for peace, is not a symptom of weakness. It is evidence of depth. Shallow minds fall asleep easily because they never ask difficult questions. They never confront themselves. They never wonder if they could be more, do more, live better. You are awake because you care, because your mind is active, searching, restless, not from disorder, but from ambition that has no off switch. And the Stoics would not have told you to become someone who cares less. They would have told you to care with discipline, to carry the weight of your thoughts with better form. Marcus Aurelius wrote, All you need are these: certainty of judgment in the present moment, action for the common good in the present moment, and an attitude of gratitude in the present moment for anything that comes your way. Notice, all three are in the present moment, not the past, not the future, right now. In this moment, your judgment is clear. You are listening, learning, choosing rest over panic. In this moment, your action is sound. You are taking care of yourself. In this moment, gratitude is available. You are alive, breathing, safe, and able to hear these words. That is enough, not for your whole life, but for this moment. And life, as the Stoics taught us, is only a series of moments. So if you can master this one, you can master the next. Epictetus said, "Caretake this moment. Immerse yourself in its particulars. Quit the evasions. Stop giving yourself needless trouble. It is time to really live, to fully inhabit the situation you happen to be in right now. The situation you happen to be in right now is rest. Not crisis, not preparation, not rehearsal. Rest. Inhabit it. Fully. Without apology." Seneca wrote a line that belongs here at the end of this journey. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied. For he that is wants nothing. He that is wants nothing. Read that slowly. He that is, present, here, now, wants nothing. Because in the present moment, there is nothing to want. Everything you need for tonight is already here. A place to rest, air to breathe, a mind that is, for the first time in hours, beginning to slow. You made it, through all 9 truths. Not everyone does. Most people leave before truth 4, not because they don't care, but because stillness is uncomfortable. You stayed, and that tells me something about you. What follows now is the closing. It is designed to be the last thing you hear tonight. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to think about anything. Just listen. And if your eyes close before I finish, that is not failure. That is the point. Imagine, for a moment, that Marcus Aurelius is sitting beside you tonight. Not as an emperor, not as a philosopher, as a man who also couldn't sleep, as a man who also carried more than he should, as a man who also lay in the dark and wrestled with his own mind. And imagine he leans toward you, not with a lecture, but with something quieter, a letter, written not for the public, not for history, for you, tonight. He would say something like this: "You are doing better than you think. I know, because the people who are truly lost don't lie awake, wondering if they're lost. They don't search for truth at midnight. They don't listen to voices that remind them to slow down. The fact that you are here tells me you have not given up on yourself. And that, in a world that makes giving up so easy, is its own kind of courage. Tomorrow will come, and it will bring its own weight. But tonight, you have set that weight down, not abandoned it. Set it down, the way a worker sets down his tools at the end of the day. And not because the work is finished, but because the worker, the human, needs rest to continue. You have reviewed your day. You have named your fears. You have sorted what you can control from what you cannot. You have stopped fighting the wave and allowed it to pass. You have recognized that your mind's stories are stories, powerful, vivid, but not prophecy. And now you rest. Not because you've earned it, because you are alive. And the living rest. Seneca closes his evening with 3 questions. Let us close tonight with the same 3. What ailment of yours have you cured today? Maybe tonight, You cured the habit of lying awake without any anchor. You found one. What failing have you resisted? Maybe tonight you resisted the urge to spiral. You chose a different path. Where can you show improvement? Maybe tomorrow you can come back to this a little earlier, before the spiral starts, before the wolf feels real. If this helped you tonight, if something in this room changed, even slightly, then I want to ask you one thing. Subscribe. Not because of algorithms or numbers, because there will be another night like this one. And when it comes, I want to be here for you again. This channel, Stoic Undertone, is a place where quiet minds come to rest. And you are welcome here. Always. There is nothing left to solve tonight. There is nothing left to carry. The day is complete. You completed it. Not perfectly, but completely. And that is all that was ever asked of you. Marcus Aurelius wrote his last line of the evening the same way every night. He would put down the pen, blow out the candle, and before sleep, he would think one thought: I have lived. I have done what I could. The rest belongs to the morning. Let your eyes close. Let your jaw soften. Let your hands rest open. You are safe. You are enough. And tomorrow, if the world asks too much of you again, you will know where to come. Back here. Back to this quiet place. Back to these words. Back to the voices of men who understood, 2,000 years before you, that the bravest thing a person can do at the end of the day is let go. Good night.